Good afternoon, YouTube, and happy Tuesday. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day so far. I have a video for you guys today regarding Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds is a congressperson from South Florida, and he had a town hall yesterday. And I have four clips that I want to share with you guys regarding the town hall. There were times in the town hall that his constituents agree with him, and then there were times that they have vehemently disagreed with him. The times that they disagreed with him was mostly around DOGE. And DOGE, of course, is the Department of Government Efficiency headed by Elon Musk. And people are having issues with DOGE. And so, not the, and you guys are going to see this differentiation. People are not having an issue with government like being effective, efficient, waste being cut. People have a problem with the way that it's being carried out. And so the very first question that one of the audience members, one of his constituents basically asked him was regarding DOGE. And so take a look at this and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Susan Sutton from Fort Myers. Susan?
Susan? Oh, hey Susan, how you doing?
All right, Susan, as a member of the Oversight Committee, what oversights are you imposing on Elon Musk and DOGE?
Great question. Okay. I guess they like that question. So, a couple things. First and foremost, when it comes to what Elon Musk is doing, everything that he does right now is in the auspices of being a special employee under the presidency of Donald Trump. So how this works is the president is allowed to have special employees. Every president has basically had these special employees. They're tasked with specific duties, specific responsibilities. Some of them have been tasked with going overseas, trying to negotiate climate policy. That was John Kerry when he was the climate czar under President Byron. In this instance, Elon Musk is essentially the head of the DOGE that Donald Trump has set up in his administration. In terms of oversight from Congress, that's much more of an appropriations aspect. What DOGE is doing right now is they're going through every agency and they're examining any contracts or any lack of efficiencies in spending federal dollars. This is something that I'm going to answer you. I'm going to answer you, but if you want to yell, it's okay, but I just want to answer you. Are you going to allow me to answer the question? Okay. So, like I said, what they are doing is under the directions of the President of the United States. If you're going to talk about what oversight is doing, we actually have to let the DOGE committee, the DOGE department, actually finish its work. What they are examining right now is inefficiency in the federal system. This is something that President Obama wanted to do when President Obama was elected president of the United States. You can do what you want to, but those are the facts. Because if you go back in time, back to 2009, then President Obama famously said that he wanted to examine...
He's basically saying that clip. Now, Byron Donalds tried to joke and basically say, oh, I guess they like that question. You hear an audience member say, we would like the answer much more. And so I don't know if you guys caught that. I definitely caught it. And what Byron Donalds was basically trying to do, he did two things that I felt like was extremely disingenuous, right? So the first thing is he tried to couple cutting government waste with what Elon Musk is doing. I don't think anyone, right, left, or center, have an issue with cutting government waste. People have an issue with Elon Musk basically, like they're saying, taking a sledgehammer and just cutting departments and just being reckless and inconsiderate and just firing people and laying people off without knowing what these people actually do, without doing a full audit to make sure that these jobs are okay to be eliminated. Elon Musk is not being strategic. He's not being considerate. He's not being careful. He's not doing things in a very appropriate way. What he's doing is he's basically cutting whatever he wants, and real people are being negatively affected. And so The thing that I think Byron Donalds did was basically he spoke to the fact that, and you're going to see this throughout the video, he spoke to the fact that cutting government waste is very popular. And I would imagine so. Even me, a person that's on the left, that's more progressive, I want government to run efficiently. I want it to run effectively. But I don't like the way that it's being done under DOGE and under Elon Musk. And so that to me was disingenuous, because he's going to, and like I said, this is a recurring talking point for him. He's going to continuously say, people want government ways. Government ways have very high approval ratings. Yes, but Doge have very, very low approval ratings because of the way it's being done. And so for him to couple those two things, I felt was very, very disingenuous, because yes, the American people want government to run efficiently and effectively. However, the American people just don't want Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, to just be laying off federal workers and then having to hire them back because it's obvious you didn't know what their jobs entailed and how important their jobs were. So the fact that he tried to couple both of those ideals, I felt was very inefficient. Another thing he did, and I felt like it was disingenuous and inefficient the way that he did that, but he's a politician. That's the way they operate. Another thing that he did was he tried to talk about Obama and John Kerry, and you can hear that as soon as he started talking about other people, his constituents got upset. Because here's the thing: when you have no money, when your 401k is dropping, when prices of everything is going up, nobody wants to hear whataboutism. When I'm having a conversation regarding politics, or if I'm responding to a comment regarding politics, the second someone says, well, Biden did it or Obama did it, I don't want to engage, because nobody cares what was done in the past. And I am not a person who is going to say that the Biden administration or the Obama administration was perfect. But right now, we're dealing with the here and we're dealing with the now. We're dealing with the fact that people can't afford their mortgages today. So nobody wants to hear about what happened in the past. That's not going to fly anymore. So I was really happy to see that those people weren't going for that. They were not going for Obama did this and Joe Biden did this and Kamala Harris did this. The second he invoked someone else's name, he got booed. Because when you are in pain, when things are not going well in your life, the last thing you want to hear is about what somebody else did. Okay, they did that, but what are you going to do to be better? Because if it was wrong for them to do it, it's wrong for you to continuously do it. And it's wrong that it's still happening right now, and I'm still in pain right now. So what are you going to do right now? And the fact that he did that, he tried to go, well, John Kerry did this, Obama did that, Biden did that. Yeah, but I can't afford my mortgage today. So as my congressperson, as the person that I elected to advocate for me and to protect me and to fight for me, what are you going to do? We're not talking about Obama or Biden. What are you going to do today? And so that was a part of the town hall where people vehemently disagreed with him, and I understood exactly where they were coming from, because it's like nobody wants to hear that. I'm asking you as my representative, what are you gonna do? So let's take a look at the other clip, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
It is actually clear that when the president, who is a unitary executive under our system of government, they are allowed to hire who they want to work in the federal government. And so I find it interesting that people who are upset about Elon right now were not upset, and I brought this up earlier, when John Kerry was going around the planet trying to negotiate climate change deals. But that's what John Kerry was charged to do when he was made climate change.
That you see that's a reoccurring thing for him. This is what John Kerry did. This is what Obama did. And you hear the second he started doing that, his constituents started booing and getting upset with him. And so he did it again. He does it throughout his town hall, which makes him ineffective to me, because if you're not able to productively do your job or productively speak to your point without invoking somebody else's name or their bad behavior, to me you're ineffective. Because okay, John Kerry did it, okay, Obama did it, but what are you doing? And why are you resting your head as my representative? Why are you resting your head on the fact that somebody else made mistakes? I'm asking you, how are you fighting for me in Washington? And you're talking about Obama. So let's take a look at this other clip, and we'll talk about it.
Federal spending in our government as it exists today. Last thing I will bring up to everybody. Hold on a minute. Everybody settle down. Everybody settle down for a minute. Here's the last thing. There is a report that comes out every single year. This is the GAO report. The GAO report every single year has said the federal government wastes more than $250 billion per year. $250 billion. Over the last 20 years, the federal government has wasted $3 trillion. I believe that it is in the interest of the people of Southwest Florida and the United States to examine all inefficiencies in the federal government. Unless you have $3 trillion going on, I don't know. If your concern is that Elon Musk and his team are going through agencies and canceling contracts that are inefficient, actually, and this is a great point, I'm glad you said not on his own, because when appropriations language is written under federal law today, Congress has given discretion to the secretaries of the various cabinet agencies. So what the DOGE is actually doing is they are working.
Okay, so this part was extremely alarming to me, and I need you guys to help me out with this. So the way I understand things is we have three co-equal branches of government. We have our legislative branch, which of course is Congress. It makes up of the House of Representatives and the Senate. Then we have our executive branch, that's our president. It makes up of Donald Trump and, our president. And then we have the judicial branch, which of course is all of our courts, the Supreme Court, federal, like all of our courts. What he said, he basically said Congress, in my opinion, what I heard is Congress has relinquished its power to the executive branch. He said, and help me understand, he said Congress, he's talking about the secretaries of different departments, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of the Human Service, like all these different secretaries, right? Those people are, they're confirmed by Congress. However, Congress is still a co-equal branch of government that should work independently with their findings. Now, once they've concluded what they want to approve or appropriate, then they can work with secretaries, which of course is under Donald Trump, the Secretary of Defense, and all of these people. They can work with those people after Congress have already concluded what they want to appropriate, what they want to fund. What he said was Congress has basically relinquished their power to the executive branch. No. And I'm okay, so because I'm like, I watched this several times and I'm like, I want to make sure I'm understanding him. Because there is one thing, okay, so in our system, yes, Donald Trump nominates a person, right? So he'll say, for instance, Pete Hegseth. He's our Secretary of Defense. Donald Trump nominates him to be the Secretary of Defense. However, Congress confirms him whether or not they want him to be the Secretary of Defense. And Byron Donalds, the way he phrased it is if Congress, once Congress confirms a secretary, that's them relinquishing their power to that secretary. And I'm like, that is not the same thing. That's not how it's supposed to work. Congress is still a co-equal branch of government. Just because a secretary is nominated and confirmed by Congress doesn't mean that Congress don't have they don't still have their responsibilities and their say in being a co-equal branch of government. when I heard him say that, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. You guys help me in the comments, because maybe I'm thinking about it too much. Maybe I'm looking at it too deeply, because the way he phrased it and the way that it sounded to me is if once the secretary of whatever department is confirmed, it is his belief that's Congress relinquishing their power to that particular secretary for that department. And no, when it comes to the purse strings in our country, Congress appropriate funds. It's Congress' responsibility. It's their duty to appropriate the funds. So it's not a matter of, okay, Pete Hegseth, he's been confirmed as Secretary of Defense, so he can do whatever he wants with the funds. No, Congress still appropriates the funds. And that's the reason why people are having such a huge issue with Elon Musk just randomly cutting things, and because it's like, that's not your job. It seems like this administration don't understand that we have 3 co-equal branches of government. And it's really disheartening that Byron Donalds took that approach, because he's in Congress. It's like, you're basically insinuating that the secretaries, like Secretary of Defense or whatever, the secretaries are in charge of appropriating funds, and you're in Congress. That's your job. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. I'm like, maybe he misspoke, or maybe I didn't completely understand. But I watched it. I think I watched it like that particular clip. I think I watched it 3 times, because I'm like, did he just say that yes, Congress basically relinquishes its power to the secretaries because they confirm the secretary? That's not relinquishing your power. That's not saying that you are now responsible for appropriating the funds. I didn't understand that. And you guys, please help me in the comments, because like I said, we have 3 co-equal branches of government. Congress, which of course is the House of Representatives and the senators, they appropriate funds. They are in charge of the purse strings in this country. So why is Byron Donalds in a town hall basically saying, well, Congress confirmed these people? Okay, cool, they did. That does not mean that Congress relinquishes its responsibilities to the secretaries. That's not what that means. And the fact that he said that kind of gave insight into how this administration thinks. It's like Donald Trump, what he's trying to do, and what it seems like he's being successful at doing, is he's trying, it's like political overreach. It's not as if he's trying to make Congress obsolete, but he's trying to put his thumb on the scale where Congress does what he says. And he don't look at it like Congress is a co-equal branch of government. It looks like I am the president and everybody do what I say. And that's dictatorship. That is not a democracy. That's not a republic. And so when Byron Donalds said that, I'm like, it gave insight to how this administration looks at our government. They don't look, this administration is like, we're the executive branch. We're in charge of you guys, and you guys are under us. The legislative branch and the judicial branch, you guys are under us. You guys do what we say. And that's not the way it's written in the Constitution. And the Constitution is they're all equal. They're all equal. And so the fact that Byron Donalds is basically like, well, Congress confirmed these secretaries. Okay, that doesn't mean that they lose their power, that Congress loses its power. So if you guys looked at it different, or you understood it different, let me know, because I watched that 2 or 3 times and I'm like, did he just basically say, yes, this administration is treating the legislative branch and the judicial branch as if they are under them? Like, they're co-equal branches of government, which means we have the same powers. We have the same, we have different powers, but they're equal. Our powers are equal. And that's not the way that this government is working right now. So this is the last clip. You guys take a look at this clip and I'll talk about it on the other side.
The concern is that Elon Musk and his team are going through agencies and canceling contracts that are inefficient and actually And this is a great point. I'm glad you said not on his own. Because when appropriations language is written under federal law today, Congress has given discretion to the secretaries of the various cabinet agencies. So what the DOGE is actually doing is they are working with cabinet-level secretaries who have all been confirmed by the United States Senate. They bring their findings to that secretary, and then that secretary is the one who is making the decisions, because the authority has been given to the cabinet-level secretaries by Congress. You may not like it, but that's the way the law is written. So I will tell you, to the executive branch, which goes around members of Congress and goes around constituencies in the United States of America. If you want to, last thing I will tell you is, now here's where a little bit of public perception. If you examine broad-based polling on government efficiencies, it is popular with the American people. People want efficiencies in the federal government. In my view, you're not being intellectually honest if you don't want to have a thorough examination of waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal level. You're not being intellectually honest. For those in the room who may be upset about DOGE, are you going to be upset when DOGE gets to the Department of Defense? Are you going to be upset when they get to the Department of Defense? See, now this is where I find that this is not being intellectually honest. Because I think that this is where I think it's not intellectually honest. Every decision that the DOGE, is not even a decision, every recommendation that DOGE makes is approved by cabinet-level secretaries who have been confirmed by the United States Senate. That's the way the process works. Next question. Wait, before you go to the next question.
I wanted to do an overview of the video. There was times in the town hall that Byron Donalds, his constituents, they agreed with him. There was times that they booed him. There was a woman that had to be removed because she was speaking about the Palestine and Israel conflict. And Byron Donalds, I am no fan. I am no fan of Byron Donalds. I think that he is very disingenuous in his speech and what he says. And I think that I think that he says what he needs to say. I don't know if he agrees or even believes in what he's saying. Sometimes when he's speaking, I'm just like, it's like, it feels very opportunistic. It feels very much like, this is what I need to say. This is the talking point. This is what the administration wants us to go out and message. And so this is what I'm messaging. And so, I don't know. I enjoyed the town hall because it kind of gave me insight into the administration. I already knew that this is the way that the administration is, kind of operating, treating the legislative branch and the judicial branch as if they are not co-equal, as if Donald Trump is in control of all three branches of government, which he is not. And I think that is very detrimental for our republic. And so when I was listening to Byron Donalds speak, I'm like, I don't know if he intended to say what he said. I don't know if he I don't think he thought that it was like a bombshell. And maybe it wasn't to him, and maybe it wasn't to a lot of you. But to me, the fact that he insinuated that the government, that he insinuated that Congress relinquishes its power to the secretaries, to me was very telling, because it doesn't appear that they're collaborating and they're working together. It seems as if DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, is doing whatever it wants and telling Congress what to do. And that's not how it should be. And so that, to me, that's something that kind of resonated and I picked up on. And to me, it was astounding that he said it. People started to boo. He said that he said something to the effect that Donald Trump is like a unilateral leader. And it's like, he's the president. So that you can say that, but we have three branches of government. We have a republic, we have a democracy, and the fact that he's running around as if he's the only person that gets to dictate or determine or make rules or kind of make decisions is not the way our government works. That's the way it works in dictatorships. So it was very that town hall was very telling to me. It was very telling to me. Like I said, there were certain clips I watched several times, and I was thinking to myself, this gives great insight. I don't know if you guys are going to see it the same way, but it's definitely the way I seen it. And so, like I said, Byron Donalds to me seems like an opportunist. I don't believe he believes what he's saying. I believe he's basically just spilling out the talking points. I believe Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. I believe the Republicans and the Republican Party has decided that they're going to allow him to be a dictator, and they do what he said. It's not when Byron Donalds was talking about DOGE, he wasn't speaking about it from a perspective that he agreed with it. He was speaking about it from a perspective, this is what was told to us, and this is what we're going to follow. Because he was just he was doing this very explain how things work, and it's like, we know how it works. What are your opinions regarding it? What are your ideologies regarding it? We don't need you to give us a backstory or an overview of how it works. We know exactly how it works. We're asking, are you okay with it, and are you willing to fight for us, that the people that are against it in your district? Are you willing to fight for us? Because we don't like it. We don't need you to explain to us what's going on. We know what's going on. We're being affected by it. And so he was very, when you watch the clips, he was doing this whole thing where it was like informational. He was explaining to people how things work. And it's like, people that go to town halls are normally politically engaged. They know how it works. They're unhappy with it, and they need you to speak to what they are experiencing, not to try to teach them things that they already know. And that's the reason why I say I don't believe he believes in like these things. He's doing what he's told. I always get opportunists from him. I don't ever get, this is a person who truly believes. And here's the thing. I was going to do a video regarding like his backstory, his life, how he grew up, and all of these things, because when he said that comment about Donald Trump being daddy, and when like I started looking into Byron Donalds, I believe he's a Republican because he's an opportunist. I believe he's more so an opportunist than he's an actual Republican. I believe that. I really do. And the way he carried himself and the way he projected himself in this town hall kind of spoke to what I already thought. Because I was just like, yeah, he's just explaining things. He's not really saying, I agree. This is something that I support. This is something that I'm advocating for. It was kind of like, well, Donald Trump put Elon Musk in power. It's like, we know that. We're saying we don't agree with it, and what are you going to do to help us and fight for us and advocate for us? We're not asking you to explain the process. We already know the process. And so it's the reason why I believe it's like he's just doing what he's told. That is my commentary. I'm going to run back to work and pretend to be productive. No, I'm going to go back to work and be productive. You guys have a phenomenal day. I will speak with you guys later. Bye.